Hey there, welcome to Rave Culturecast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more, hosted by me, Emma Capotis. Each week, I'll be covering everything from dance music culture, industry news, trending topics, and festival tips, advice, and reviews. You can also expect to hear stories from ravers, artists, business owners, and more. Tune in every Wednesday for your weekly dose of peace, love, unity, and respect. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culturecast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I'm your host, Emma Capotis. Welcome to the podcast. So I'm super excited to be back again, guys. We're back on a weekly schedule, which feels really, really good. So I hope you're enjoying the episodes. And if you're new, welcome. Super pumped to have you here. What's going on? Right now, I'm honestly just getting super excited for Project Glow next weekend. I did just post a festival guide on my YouTube channel, just talking about just different things about it, festival facts, what to wear, my plans, all that good stuff. So very, very excited. More to come on that next week. But I hope to see some of you guys there for the first year. Before we go any further, I want to share a quick message from a friend of the podcast, Lunatics. So Lunatics makes basically my go-to face gems, glitter, festival accessories, all that good stuff. They are an amazing small business in this space, and I absolutely love the quality of their products. So almost every single glitter I wear, face gems, all that good stuff, sunglasses. They have like a full festival edit up on their site that you guys can check out and support. I do have a 10% off discount code, which is EMMAK, so you guys can feel free to use that anytime you're on Lunatics' website. I also just posted a festival makeup look. It was for Coachella, but it could be applied to any festival using all of their products. So if you guys want to check that out, head over to my YouTube channel, Emma Capotis. Alrighty, with all that being said, let's dive into this week's oldie but a goodie. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Honestly, I'm enjoying just sharing music that is just like kind of a throwback. A lot of it recently has been stuff that got me into EDM, like back in the early 2010s. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. I'm also happy to switch this back to new music if you guys would prefer hearing newer stuff, but I'm very open book, so I'm here to try new things. But this week, like I mentioned, I wanted to do a song from David Guetta because I haven't featured him yet in this series, and he for sure is one of the artists that did get me into EDM. I would say like late high school. So I graduated high school in 2009. Like around then, I was listening to David Guetta like all the time, and that carried into college. So even now, I'm a big fan of the Future Rave project he has with Morton. So got to give him props. He started it for a lot of people, but his song Sound of Letting Go is one of my favorites. Honestly, there's a whole album I was trying to pick from like 2011, but Sound of Letting Go is one that I listened to probably on repeat 1,000 times on my CD player. So I'm going to shout this one out. Let's do a little clip here of David Guetta's Sound of Letting Go. 'Cause this is where the sound of letting go. It's getting louder and louder. What we're gonna do is... Alrighty, now that we have that out of the way, I want to dive into today's episode. So I am going to be talking today about taking your parents to a rave. So I was hoping, this episode came because I was hoping to take my parents actually today to Elro in New York City, but unfortunately they did go to Florida. So I totally messed that up, but I still wanted to talk about this topic on the podcast because I haven't covered it yet. So I polled my audience. You guys submitted some really great emails. I got some, comments on social media. So I'm going to share a couple thoughts on it. And then hopefully in the future, I can join the club here and say that I have brought my parents to a rave. And it doesn't just have to be parents. It could be aunts, uncles, grandparents, like whatever it is. Just to kick things off here, I honestly wouldn't have considered this in my early 20s, probably just because I was in the college party mode. But as I've gotten older and closer to my parents and I want to spend more time with them, and as I've personally gotten more involved in this scene, my mom especially has expressed interest in coming to a show or a festival. So for me, naturally being, near New York City, my thoughts were either do Electric Zoo or do Avant Garden because there's so many shows. So Elro, of course, typically happens like 4 times a year now. There's usually a spring, a summer, and a winter show. I don't know if they're going to do fall. So we'll have another opportunity this summer. I will circle back. But I just thought that would be a good one to start with personally. And they're going to be in other cities as well. They've done Miami, Chicago, and hopefully they'll expand that. But because it's more of like a circus, like it's an immersive experience. There's all this confetti. There's like stilt walkers and performers, and it's all like house and techno. I thought that would be a good one for them to start with versus like a show at night, because today's show that I'm going to is like 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. So it's a daytime show. But I feel like you could take your parents to anything. And for me personally, I just think it's a great way to bond with your parents. It's a way to show them like what you're interested in, like why you do this. There's so many amazing things about this community. And even I've talked to so many of you guys who have taken parents to EDC Las Vegas or to Electric Forest or Ultra, Beyond Wonderland, like so many events out there. And I think it just shows your parents like how special this community is and how welcoming it can be, especially like think of your friends or other people. Like if I look around and see somebody who's in their 50s, 60s, 70s, like having a great fucking time, it makes my experience better too. And everybody loves having like an actual rave mom or dad there. I've also seen a lot of people take their parents to Red Rocks as well. I've seen so many TikToks about that. So yeah, it's just a really nice way to like incorporate them in the community. And I think everybody should consider doing it at some point. You know, if your parents have ever expressed interest, or a lot of you, like your parents maybe that aren't even that much older than you and they are ravers, like what they would probably love nothing more than to go like relive their rave days with their child. Like how special is that to them? So you know, they want to have fun too. They want to enjoy it, introduce them to it. Those are kind of like my thoughts about it. And like just taking my parents, I really just wanted to show them like what a show is like, because I don't even know I don't think they've ever been to an EDM show. They've been to concerts, but I kind of want them to see like what it's like, how people act, how people dress, like just get the full fucking experience. So I'll keep you posted on what I bring them to, but I'm hoping maybe Elro this summer would be a good one. Lane 8 is also coming this summer. I'm going to bring my younger brother to that because he likes that kind of music. So I'm really excited for that. But I think we can just make this a full family experience is kind of what I'm getting at here. So those are my quick thoughts about it. I do have a couple emails, so I want to read your stories about you guys taking your parents to raves. So let's dive right in. All right, so this one's first from my girl Ashley, or A Life with Ash. Love her mom. Let me just say, you can go see her mom in some of her vlogs. I met her mom at ARC, and then, there was another festival I met her mom at, EDC Orlando, I believe. She's a fucking blast. Absolutely love her. So Ashley wrote in about it. So she said, as I reflect on my own history of going to festivals and events as a parent myself, taking my mom with me really is a full circle moment. Being from Central Illinois and having family who lived in Chicago growing up, house music was a heavily influence in my childhood. House music was played on Saturdays as my mom cleaned the house, in the car, and even at family cookout. And it was appealing to all ages. Here, it's truly just a part of the culture, and no one thinks about how old someone is or if they will fit into the scene. In my mom's case, she made a lot of sacrifices for me and my brother, which means a lot of her chances of going to events took the back burner. I started really going to events with my family. Here in Chicago, we have something called Pride Festival, which usually takes place around the same time as the Pride, and there you could see house legends like Crystal Waters and Cashmere, aka Green Velvet, take the stage. In 2013, I started to explore the EDM scene on my own, going to shows with friends, and then ultimately attended Spring Awakening Music Festival for the first time. My mom was intrigued and asked me about my experiences, so one day I took her to a Zed show, and the rest was history. Since then, she's gone with me to Spring Awakening, our first ever EDC Las Vegas, North Coast, EDC Orlando, and her favorite, our local ARC Music Festival that showcases our beloved Chicago house music community. Seeing her experience the evolution of this music brings me so much joy. She loves exploring new genres, and she says it makes her feel young again. As someone who is also battling lupus, going to events really lifts her spirits. It gives her something to look forward to even on the bad days. I know sometimes she may feel insecure being one of the few older people attending, but it's all worth it. In the end, we have so much fun, and she forgets her insecurities. Her going also gives me hope that I can continue to take part in the community even as I age, and it inspires me to share/pass down the love I have for this music with my kids as well. So if I had any advice for someone who's considering it, do it now. It's such a great bonding experience for us. We love reconnecting together, and it shows that this music transcends all boundaries, age, gender, ethnicity, etc. In regards to what events to start with, I would say maybe start small and go to a show and then a single day at a festival. Personally, my mom enjoys our house raves and festivals the most, but don't be afraid to expose them to new genres. You might be surprised. Anyway, I know this is long-winded, but feel free to edit. I hope this gives your listeners some insights about taking your parents with you. Love your girl, Ashley. Oh, that warms my heart so much. Again, her mom is so special. She's a fucking blast. You have to go see her in the vlogs. She was just so much fun. She was having the best time, and that was so well said. So thank you, Ashley, for writing in. All right, this one's from Bianca. It says, hi, my name is Bianca Mestanza from New York City. In 2013, my parents decided to surprise me with tickets to Ultra as an early Sweet 16 gift. My parents got 2 tickets expecting one of my best friends to go with me, but since we were all so young, my best friend's mom did not let her go, so my mom decided to go with me. This has been my mom's first festival since she wasn't really a concert goer when she was younger. We did 2 days of Ultra because it was our first time in Miami, so we decided to sightsee on our 3rd day. Let me tell you, Ultra was an amazing experience for my mom, and she was so excited to see all the artists, Deadmau5 being her favorite set because she was blown away from the cube and the music. She felt so fresh and young. People were asking left and right if we were sisters, and I had her dress up in some brighter colors and gave her some candy to wear. I love that. She said Carl Cox was the most sophisticated music experience ever, and she loved how the older the crowd was and how calm. She won't ever forget that weekend, and I'm so glad our first festival was together. I love this for so many reasons. I'm so happy I did this episode because I feel like even just hearing you guys validate it, I just think that your parents might have reservations or insecurities or be nervous, but then when they get there, I feel like they'll get it. Like they will see how amazing the community is, and they'll be like, holy shit, all these younger kids are like about it and like accepting and like even love it that I'm here. So I think that that's so special. And I do agree, like depending on the event you go to, obviously the crowds differ very much. And I've talked about this. Like if I were to take my parents to a show, like I said, it would be like house probably, because I think that would be a really nice intro for them. Like I even think techno might be like a little too heavy to dip them into, and they would definitely not like bass music. At least I don't think. So yeah, like I said, I think I would take them to like a house show that's something like really upbeat and fun and something they can dance to. I mean, my mom was super into disco. Like she was a disco queen in the city in like the 70s. So I also feel like disco house would be her fucking jam, like a Dombresky disco set or LPGOB or something like that. We would be all about that. So anyway, I think like the music can help as well if it's like nostalgic for your parents. Okay, this next one's from Olivia. It says, my mom loves Deadmau5 and I had been wanting to take her to see him. So when he announced his Cube V3 tour in 2019, I got to booking tickets. We live in California, but decided to do the Red Rock show in Colorado since my older sister lives close by, and this would be my first Red Rock show. Skip to the night of the show, and it's both my parents, my older sister and her husband, and my fiance and I together. It was already great because we all hardly ever get to hang out together, so I soaked up this moment. The venue is jaw-droppingly gorgeous, and I teared up when we first walked in. We decided to find a good place to sit, and then my sister and I split up to get drinks for everyone. Little did we know, we each got my dad a canned red wine, so he started the night double fisting and getting loose. Love that for him. My fiance thought it would be a great idea to roll at the show since the circumstances of the venue and the music would make it perfect. I hesitated because I didn't want to, roll in front of my parents, but I ended up taking some and I tried to keep it nonchalant. Oh, took a turn. We were secretly taking hits off of our vape when my parents weren't looking and just dancing and feeling euphoric. Throughout the night, people would come up to me and be like, are those your parents? That's sick. I wish my parents were this cool. My parents were reveling in it. It was so funny. By the end of the night, my dad had downed 4 canned wines, and they were large, mind you. And you're so high up in altitude, very true, that the alcohol hits you harder, so he was sloshed. My mom and I had to support his arms and help him stumble down the giant hill back to the parking lot. Never seen my dad so tipsy in his life. Oh my God, poor thing. That night ended up being one of the most memorable nights of my life, and I will never forget it. My parents never found out we were rolling, thank goodness, and said it was one of the best concerts they've been to. Thank you so much for reading. I hope you like my story. Peace, love, unity, respect, Olivia. That's 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. That's fucking hysterical. Okay, this is from Nadia, who goes by Little Flower. So my dad was actually the first person to get me a ticket to a rave festival, and I'm 90% sure he regrets it. We went to Beyond Wonderland 2019 with a couple of my family members, and it was like discovering a whole new world. I had never seen so many lights and crazy outfits in my life. The best part of the whole experience was seeing my dad be carefree. He's always so serious, but seeing him be social and happy was so refreshing. I think the funniest part, though, was seeing how people reacted when they found out he was actually my dad and not my brother or cousin or something like that. Since then, we've been going to as many shows as our jobs allow. Hopefully, we'll be heading up beyond Pacific Northwest this year. Amazing. These vibes are immaculate. Okay. This is from Brandy. Me and my dad have actually gone to EDC Orlando for 2 years, and he's over 50. And in 2021, he actually got a pacemaker put in. So my dad has some health issues, so he uses this cool walker thing that rolls and he can sit on. With having that, it's pretty hard to walk around and get him to places, but everyone is so nice and amazing, and they move out of the way or high five him or fist pump or just anything. People even trade candy with him and show all kinds of love towards him. I love that. That's gonna make me cry. Okay, the people were so accepting and nice. We've never had any problems. We do end up using the ADA platform so that way he can see the stage and everything. So for now, we always look forward to going to EDC and try to pick what DJs we want to see and all of that. My dad actually is the reason I got into EDM. He used to be a DJ when I was younger and would DJ at some local clubs. I actually grew up learning about EDC because I would hear it on the radio from him listening to Sirius Satellite. My dad really enjoys going. He loves the music and even recognizes a lot of the stuff that gets played. It really is a cool experience to share with my dad since he enjoys going so much. We also used to go to the raves at anime conventions too, and he would stay there longer than I would. I guess I got really lucky to have a parent who enjoys the rave community and EDM just like I do. I hope to actually take my dad to Sunset Music Festival for at least one day since EDC is so far away. Side note, the only thing that can be awkward is that I go with my dad and I can't imagine how many people think I have a sugar daddy. But in this community, no one would even care. That's hysterical. Thank you, Brandy, for writing in. I'm glad you guys have that bonding experience. That's amazing. Okay, this one's from Margaret. Hi, my name is Margaret, and I've been raving for what seems like light years now. I actually have a crazy upbringing into the rave community. I grew up watching my very own dad go to raves and attend EDC Las Vegas every year, and I remember being a teenager just listening to his EDM and falling in love with it every second. We would make candy in preparation for his events, and I would just dream of the day I would be able to attend. For my 18th birthday, my dad gifted me a ticket to EDC Las Vegas, and oh my God, I was over the moon. Keep in mind, my birthday is in August, so I had quite a ways to go. I assumed that it would be my first event. However, in October, my dad actually had an extra ticket to escape Halloween. So he took me, and it was just the two of us, and I looked like a fish out of water. I was so shy and anxious because I was a little nervous I was there with my dad. This was one of the best memories, though, because it opened my eyes to a world that I didn't know I needed and a world that definitely saved my life. My dad has been my rave bestie ever since, and we've been going together to events like we're best friends, and it is the best time. That's from Margaret Gutierrez. You guys are just warming my heart so much. I actually can't wait to take my parents now. I think everybody needs to do this. Okay, this one's from Marissa. So she said, I didn't take my dad to a rave, but probably about 10 years ago, we went to a Warped Tour together. He had no idea what kind of music it was, but he was there to make sure I had a good time and I was safe. Throughout the day, he checked in to make sure I was drinking water if I needed anything, but for the most part, we went to the stages where he liked the music and we had a blast together. That's another great one. Warped Tour, anything along those lines. It doesn't have to be dance music related. Those are all amazing. So this one's from Kendra. I took my mom to EDC Las Vegas 21 and she had an absolute blast. Before that, I've taken her to local rave events here in my hometown of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I started raving 7 years ago when I was 16. She has been my number one rave buddy and, of course, bestie. She was the one who started me into EDM when I was growing up. Not just EDM, but all genres of music. Dancing has been in our blood and it has been passed to me. Anyways, I took my mom and I to our first EDC last year, and it was such a memorable time to see her dancing and meeting all kinds of people. She also met another rave mama and traded her first candy. I felt proud, to say the least, haha. All of the years adding up to attending our first festival was filled with all sorts of emotions. It's an experience I'll never forget with her. This will not be the last festival I ever attend, but I am looking forward to more rave adventures with her. Amazing. I love that for you. Okay, guys, I put my headphones on because the next one is a video submission, which you guys can always send in video submissions, by the way, or audio files, whatever you want to do. But this is from our good friend Dylan at FestyHead. So let's listen to what Dylan has to say. I'm going to hit play here.
I'm kind of breaking the rules because I didn't bring them to the festival, but I've actually seen my dad at Bonnaroo a few times. And my mom, but usually my dad. My mom usually goes to bed pretty early, but my dad's kind of like me, he likes to stay up super late. The first time I saw him was actually the weekend I really started raving, which was at Bonnaroo in 2015. I don't remember how it happened, but we caught a show together, and I just remember, it's something that a lot of people don't get to do, is see things like that with their parents. And my dad's done a lot for me, and I love him more than I could ever express. So being able to see a show by his side is something that I'll be thankful for forever. I know a lot of people don't get that opportunity. So it's definitely one of my top 5 memories from a rave. And I've been raving for about 7 years now.
Awesome. Oh, yay. Thank you, Dylan. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, I think out of like reading all of these, I feel like it's just amazing to hear people say like how memorable, like every single person said a night I will never forget, a memory I will never forget. It's with me forever. Like to me, like that's like a vacation with my family. Like you will just never forget those experiences. To me, experiences are worth everything. So like to Dylan's point, even just like being around or like with a parent at an event, I can't even imagine like how special that is. So cool. Absolutely love that. Thank you, Dylan, for submitting a video. I think I have one more email here, guys. It's going to be a short episode today, and then we'll wrap things up here. But this one is from Nicole. She says, I've taken my dad to 2 multi-genre festivals. He is the reason I love so many different genres of music. Growing up, he would always show me some new bands and music, and the first festival I took him to was a local fest in Fort Lauderdale back in 2017. The day I took him was with 80s bands playing, so Earth, Wind, and Fire closed the show. It was a very chill fest at a Fort Lauderdale beach. It was mostly adults around my dad's age, so I felt in his element. He loved it so much, he took my mom the following year. The last and second festival I took him to recently was 3 Points. Oh, wow. 3 Points is a really insane like house and techno festival in Miami. Him and my boyfriend are longtime fans of Wu-Tang, and they were headlining for one of the days. So I got them tickets and they got to see them live. It was priceless seeing their faces. They look like little kids on Christmas morning, and it was an amazing show. Afterwards, we saw 3 6 Mafia. My dad is also a fan, and the set was nostalgic as fuck, and it was also very fun. Then we saw K-Tronda. He was open to the new music and was just enjoying himself very much. He loved how everyone expressed themselves through fashion and the open-minded welcome anyone and everyone mentality. He really thought people would judge him for being there in his 50s, but to his surprise, he never felt judged once. Oh, that almost made me cry. That really is like special. Oh my God. Why am I going to cry? Pisces problems. I just think that's like the most beautiful thing. And that's why I like always reiterate it on this podcast and through my content. Like, even if you are the parent, like you should 100% feel comfortable doing these events. Like no one is going to judge you. No one's going to judge you. And the people that do don't fucking matter, but no one is going to judge you. Like you should have every experience that you want to have. Okay, sorry. I say if someone wants to take their parent, make sure they are open to the experience and there is at least one band or musician on the lineup that they love or listen to. Also, since they're older, make sure you rest with them too, since they can't always keep up with us. That's from Nicole Alvarado, sorry. Great advice there too on the end. We didn't do like too many tips and advice, but I would agree with that. Like go at their pace, make sure they feel comfortable, eat, drink, do all the things you want to do. And then like if somebody they love isn't on a lineup, maybe take them to somebody who would be similar, like in the vein of somebody that they would like. And this is a great point too. A lot of people mention like, maybe you don't jump into EDC Las Vegas first, but maybe you go to a local festival or a multi-genre festival or something that's a little smaller scale, and then you jump into one of the bigger ones. So All incredible advice, you guys. I'm going to take a super quick break here, and then we will dive right into our short Rave Culture Cast recap. Alrighty, you guys, I wanted to quickly remind you that we have a merch line. So if you guys want to pick up any Rave Culture Cast merch, we have our full logo collection if you guys want to rep the podcast. I love to see you guys in the merch. We have a Plur collection as well with all of my peace, love, unity, respect logos, which I love that collection as well. And then we just launched a new one back in September with all kinds of like subgenres and a lot of stuff about house music and dance music with all different fun sayings. So definitely feel free to check that out in the show notes, you guys. And thank you so much for supporting the podcast. All right, let's jump right back into the episode. Alrighty, you guys. So for the Rave Culture Cast recap this week, I really only have 3 quick things. First thing, let's dive right in. Porter Robinson's festival, Second Sky, is coming back this year. It's going to be Halloween weekend, so it's going to be October 29th and 30th in Oakland, California. Super excited about that. I don't think there's too many details yet other than the date, but that's a big one. Global Dance Festival just dropped their full lineup. This is in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, and it's July 15th and 16th. Pretty solid lineup. You've got a mix. I mean, looking at this quickly, I would say, Above and Beyond and AC Slater, very exciting for me. Venture Club, Bijou, Blossom, Champagne Drip is a big one. Dylan Nathaniel, Excision is on here. Gem and Tori, Kayvon, Kyle Watson, Lane 8. Lane 8 is making his rounds on festival lineups, and I'm so fucking here for it. Liquid Stranger, Memba, MK, Oliver Heldens is on here. Shiba San, Subdocta, Two Friends, Vintage Culture, Wax Motif, Wooly. Pretty good mix here. Really good lineup. So that's out. And then lastly, I just saw this announcement, which I thought was really cool. Electric Family is doing a collaboration with Millennium and DC Comics, which is coming out April 22nd. Really cool to see that collaboration. They're an incredible company to support. You guys know they make these bracelets, and a portion of them goes to charity, which is really cool. It's their Greater Good Fund in support of the charity Ocean Conservation. So yeah, check out Electric Family in general for different accessories, merch, apparel, all that good stuff. And then check out the new Millennium and DC Comics collection, which is coming. All right, you guys, we made it to the end of the episode here. If you enjoyed this episode, what you can do that would mean the world to me is share it. Make this your Instagram stories, screenshot it, share it from Spotify, wherever you're watching. Tag a friend, tag at raveculturecast, especially if you guys submitted stories. Thank you so much for sharing today. We are online at raveculturecast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We have an amazing Facebook group community, and we have an amazing Discord channel as well. So you guys can stay up to date with any announcements or sneak peeks at things, all that good stuff. Rate, review, subscribe, all the things, and I will be back next Wednesday with a new episode for you. Have a great week, everybody. Bye, guys.